And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to Jim and the Crypto, episode 592. Today is Wednesday, August 19, 2020, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday. Of course, in today's top stories, total value locked in DeFi may be overestimated by $2.83 billion. Goldman Sachs is hiring a new VP of digital assets. Crypto TV begins aggressive crypto ad campaign. And Bulgarian startup will pay you Bitcoin when your flight is delayed. That's right. Not too many news stories as everybody's just kind of focused on this bull run. But as always, let's go ahead and take a look at these prices real quick. You can see here Bitcoin's coming in at $11,765 a day, down 1.92%. Ethereum, $407.90, down 3.6%. Ripple is at 29 cents, down 4.34%. Chainlink is actually up 3.95% to $16.90. We got Stellar down about 5.6% at 10 cents. EOS is down 7.14% at $3.39. Who else do we have here? And of course, let's go ahead and take a look at Litecoin that I just skipped over. There it is. Litecoin is $61.17, down 8.7% on the 24-hour clock. Again, red market today. Only thing that bounced back was Link. Of course, they were down yesterday. Monero has a slight bounce, 0.14%, not much. And as you can see, a couple other ones. But red day, I think we're going to see a lot more of these in the next week or so. Right now in the U.S., of course, no stimulus checks are going to be going out anytime soon. I think they said before September 1st. So no new money before September 1st. This first article, which we're about to talk about, is this DeFi market overinflated. Between that, this, and a couple other things going on, we may see the market continue to drop a little bit. Now, this isn't all bad news. Of course, part of the bull run is, just taking a break, quick break, getting a breath before it keeps continuing up, and taking that rocket ship out of here. But I think we're at that moment where the steam might have wore off for a few days. So interesting. We'll see, of course, what happens as we always do. What's going on, Will 45? What's up? What's up? Lucky Lloyd. Ima Sakin. What's going on, Khalil? Hello. All right. Top story of the day. Total value locked in DeFi may be overestimated by $2.83 billion. This is crazy, people. It's looking like DeFi Pulse denies claims it overestimates the total USD value locked in by DeFi by $2.83 billion. However, there has been some pushback against these claims. It looks like the total value, again, of the decentralized finance protocols recently surpassed the $6 billion mark, according to on-chain data resource DeFi Pulse. Currently, they say the figures rest at $6.32 billion. So the total DeFi market, they're saying, is at $6.32 billion after rising nearly sixfold since it reached the $1 billion mark less than 3 months ago. The exponential growth seen this year can largely be attributed to the advent of yield farming and the release of the compound protocol. However, Encode Club founder Damir Bendello claims that this figure is somewhat inflated. Instead of $6.32 billion, Bendolo says $3.5 billion is a better estimate of the real value locked in the top 15 DeFi protocols. Now, a couple things. I would say that if he believes this, the number isn't somewhat inflated. 3.5 to 6.32. You're talking about, as they said, 2 point something billion dollars. I'm looking at almost $3 billion or whatever. Off the table. That is a lot of money when you're talking about a market that just went from $1 billion to perhaps either $6 billion or $3 billion in 3 months, right? Either way, it's a win still, but I think depending on what that actual number is, that number can be reflected in the Bitcoin price. If people think that this number has been grossly overinflated by 50%, I think you can see more people pull back saying, hey, maybe we got a little too excited. Maybe we got caught up in the hype of buying or investing. We shot our gun a little too early. Or if this number is actually correct, then I do see, of course, a bull market continuing. Now, again, he says somewhat, which kind of makes me like, are you hesitant? Are you saying somewhat, or are you saying this number is inflated? Now, it looks like the DeFi Post founder, their co-founder, they're sticking to their guns, all right? They went on Twitter after this came out and said that they've already made considerable efforts to ensure their accuracy. And he also pointed out Bendello had made some errors of their own. This tweet is being stated as, "We work really hard to remove double counted assets from DeFi posts exactly to avoid this problem. The TVL only passed $6 billion a day for the first time ever and has never sniffed $6.7 billion. If you find we miss one we missed, please let them know." So what he's talking about, these double counted assets, the Encode Club founder Demir Bendolo basically came out and said, hey, they're counting things wrong. They're basically double counting. They're saying that if you were, as you can see here, if the total value locked in DeFi protocols can be hard to calculate, as $1 can create its value multiple times over in locked value. For example, a user can lock Ether and MakerDAO to create DAI, a decentralized USD based stablecoin. A user can then lock that same DAI in another protocol, and the duplications don't end there, as different protocols permit different lending, borrowing, and duplication. So again, you invest your money. First, you use your fiat, dollars, right? You go get Ethereum or whatever. You buy your Ether. You invest in MakerDAO to create the DAI. So you have that. This decentralized stablecoin, or so they say. It's not decentralized stablecoin to some, but they have a decentralized stablecoin now. So basically, your money's been switched 3 times from fiat to Ether to DAI to decentralized stablecoin, and then they're saying from that stablecoin, you can go into different applications. You can invest in different projects. You can stake your coins in different things. So they're saying if you do all of that and you're actually counting that, are you still basically accounting for that original Ether? Are you accounting for that original stablecoin if you even want to go that far? Or are you accounting for the original Ether, that stablecoin, whatever other project they invested in with that stablecoin, whatever other token they bought with that stablecoin? If you're including all of that, he's saying then yes, you are basically double counting. That's what the Encode Club founder Demir thinks is happening. But again, DeFi Post came out with the tweet and said, no, we already knew that. We made sure we weren't doing that. This is the right number. And if anything, if they're saying that did not happen, if they were to do it, then you could be looking at on paper anywhere, you could double that number almost. You could say this is a $10 to $12 billion market if they actually did count that wrong. So again, interesting story. It doesn't seem like this is an official crypto beef yet between the two companies. They're just both saying, hey, I think the numbers are this. They're saying, I think the numbers are these. But regardless of what the numbers are, like things that can be agreed upon is in 3 months, we saw this market exponentially increase, whether it was ×3 or ×6. That number remains to be seen. So that's good when it comes for growth in the crypto market in general. But again, we kind of talked about this recently already. They put this in the story too. Is there room for growth in the DeFi ecosystem? One thing I think people are overlooking is going to be the regulators. This is 2017 all over again for ICOs. And I even overlooked the regulators. I knew the regulations were coming, but I didn't know in the force they would come and how effective they would be. So I say that now with the same market. Again, if you really think there's going to be a decentralized financial market where some of the big players that are already in the legacy financial market won't be getting paid or getting their hands on money, I think we're all wrong. I think if this market continues to blossom and bloom like it's doing, and it exponentially increases and continue to exponentially increase, get ready to see regulators' hands on this aggressive. Get ready to see more banks either trying to buy up more stake in this aggressively or downplaying it the same way they did Bitcoin when you had Jamie the Diamond calling it a fraud, right? I think we're going to see the same thing here with this market. I think we're getting a little bit overzealous right now, but again, maybe this would be different, right? Maybe this would be different, but I have to say, after what the regulators did to the ICO market, it left a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to innovative things like this blossoming. I just don't see it happening as quickly as we think it could. Wife says, no, what's going on? Follow the trends, DeFi dip, diversify to Polkadot ecosystem and projects. All right, there we go. What's going on, Sergeant Crypto, PFC Wills, Hola, what's going on? Lucky Lloyd, how can someone miscalculate by billions? So that's my thing with it. And at the time, again, both numbers are crazy, right? You're talking about $1 billion to 3.5 billion or 6.32. Regardless, they're both crazy numbers. But I do like how the co-founder of DeFi Post is like, no, like I'm sticking to my guns. These are our numbers. We already accounted for what you think we didn't account for. And this is the way the market looks. Versus the Encode Club founder, Demir, he's kind of like, what is this somewhat inflated? Like, are you being nice and polite, or are you unsure of yourself? I don't know. But the other guy sounds a little bit more sure of himself. Sergeant Crypto said higher lows market wide. That is true. Walter X, what's going on? Hello. What's going on, Malik? PFC Will said facts. They will find their way in and use the regulators to do it. Exactly. That's my thing. Is we saw this same thing happen with the ICOs. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to stop investing or anything like that. I'm just saying to be conscientious of, if you already invested in this market and you made some money, I would definitely take those gains off the table and just kind of reinvest and start from scratch or wherever you're at now. Because, again, we can see this thing take a strong dip in the short term here. Again, based on what regulators want. I would say the mid to long term. That's why I was stuttering at first. I was thinking about it. I won't say the short term only because we're in the pandemic right now and regulators don't have the time to really focus on this. So I'll go ahead and throw out the prediction the same way I did in 2018 when it came to the regulation of the ICO market. I'm thinking probably 2021 after Martin Luther King Day and everyone comes back from vacation. If the pandemic has subsided somewhat and things are back to normal, then DeFi would definitely be on the radar of the government as far as, hey, what about my money? I'm special. I'm a special investigator. I want my money too, all right? Here's some good news though. Goldman Sachs is hiring a new VP of digital assets. Listen, people, when I say I've told you so, we have told you so here on the show now for 3 years now, that as long as you continue growth in this space, it doesn't have to be fast. You don't need to learn everything at once. If you're continuously growing at a daily rate, slow paces, learning one thing, two things here and there, you will be eligible for some of these positions that will be opening up in the future. There's going to be all type of digital assets positions, blockchain positions, cryptocurrency positions. I mean, they are going to be rolling them out, and they all are going to have very high starting base pays. I'm telling you now. On average, I think once this market starts to really proliferate, I think the average starting salary will be anywhere from 60 to 80K for most positions. I mean, we're already kind of seeing that for some of the roles in the space. I mean, a lot of roles, especially when you talk about development, are starting at 150 plus. But just for just basic stuff, managerial stuff, I think you can find a 60 to 80 price range to be fair. But it looks like Goldman Sachs has put the word out. It is seeking a new vice president in the London-based digital assets team within its global markets division. Come on, Antonio. I know Antonio vacationing and bouncing around islands everywhere, but it's time to go back home to London, man, and set up shop for us Warriors. Goldman Sachs needs a new VP of digital assets. And just to show you all how, it was even crazy how behind some of these companies are. When Bitcoin's A&R started our business, KRBE Digital Assets Group, that was in 2016. We were going off a Digital Assets Group. And it's funny because we had an entire hour-long back and forth about calling it digital assets or cryptocurrency or blockchain-based or whatever. And we agreed that digital assets would be like the future of how every main institution will actually be calling their businesses and things like that. And you're seeing that here now. Goldman Sachs, new VP of digital assets. I think, again, when we talk about central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, we want to push to you that, hey, we're seeing this word for the first time in an article 10 times. Like, this is the new word. This is it, folks. This is the buzzword that will be pushed out. It's going to be the same with digital assets. So familiarize yourself with that word. Play with the narrative. You can create your own storyline because it's brand new, people. It is what you want it to be. And again, if you're going to Goldman Sachs or whatever, you're going looking for a job, at this point, it's just about how confident you can sound as well as some of your experience. But a lot of this is just confidence within the market and what you know as well. But again, going back to the story, investment banking giant Goldman Sachs is hiring a new vice president in the digital assets team within its global markets division in London. According to a recent job posting, which I will pull up on the investment firm's website, the new VP will work with the digital assets team in defining and executing Goldman Sachs' distributed ledger technology and blockchain efforts firm-wide, including any potential initiatives in the cryptocurrency space. And quote, the role requires that any applicants be able to identify opportunities where blockchain and digital ledger technology, digital assets can add, or DLT digital assets can add value. That didn't make sense the way they wrote that. But regardless, people, here's what's crazy. As we often tell you with these articles, when we do this daily news show, a lot of this information we've already done our due diligence on. So the article itself, we just kind of read the headline and decide, is this a good article or not? But my point is, I didn't even read this far down in the article, but looking at what they're looking for in their VP here, defining and executing Goldman Sachs distributed ledger technology and blockchain efforts firm-wide. As I just told you, you can create the narrative right now because it's so new. And that's what Goldman Sachs is asking for their VP. They want you to come in and help create this narrative of what digital assets are, not only for Goldman Sachs, but for the cryptocurrency and blockchain industry and fintech industry as a whole. So, I mean, this is actually a really good job. I think working with Goldman Sachs doing this will put whoever has it will put them all in a unique position. Because again, I think it's going to help define the narrative of where digital assets is going to go. And of course, I'm not saying that we all listen to banks and institutions. I know we don't. But of course, as I said, with the backing and the money that a lot of these platforms and institutions, legacy institutions already have, they're going to be ones to define the narrative for the mainstream audience. When you start seeing commercials, crypto commercials left and right, I would say by and large, more of them are going to be coming from bigger companies than they will from mom and pop startups. So expect to see Goldman Sachs and unfortunately Chase and all these Bank of America and all these other guys and even Warren Buffett start leading the way. It's probably what's going to happen, unfortunately. So it looks like, again, they also on the August 6th, they hired their new global head of digital assets, which was Matthew McDermott, who is already in-house at Goldman Sachs. He was in charge of some of the funding or some funding department. He proved himself to be worthy of this position. So again, these are all new positions, a well-established firm. Again, you have the backing of a huge team, a huge platform. You have the money behind you, you have the lawyers, the legal team behind you. You literally can create the narrative for digital assets over at Goldman Sachs. And just to look at this job posting, here it is. It has a job ID, full-time vice president, global markets, employee. It has the core values here, as you can tell. Responsibilities and qualifications. You know I love to look at and talk about this. And what's funny about this application too, or excuse me, this job posting, a lot of it is fluff, people. I mean, it's cut, copy, and paste off of Wikipedia. And the reason why is because they don't have an answer. They don't have the original idea, or they would already had it. They want to be hiring all of a sudden in the middle of 2020 for a VP of digital assets, when realistically, if you were ahead of the ball, Goldman Sachs, how do you not have a VP of digital assets years ago? You're getting one in 2020. You talking about behind the ball, but behind the curve. But anyway, right, or responsibilities and qualifications. Here, let's see. Work as an integral team member. I think everybody can do that for the most part. Timely execution and new activity in the digital asset space, i.e. you need to be watching the gym in the crypto. Don't come to the table with old news or old plans or miss something. Collaborate with stakeholders across the firm to understand their businesses and identify opportunities with blockchain. DLT can add value. So basically, you need to go all around Goldman Sachs to every department and figure out how we can incorporate DLT or blockchain technology to make their business even more efficient, to save money and to make more money. Manage initiatives. Again, come up with new ideas, see them through. Develop and manage relationships with counterparts across the space to stay on top of industry developments. You need to know everyone in the crypto space, they're basically saying. Represent the firm externally with banks. Know everyone in the banking sector and make sure they're on our side when it comes to blockchain initiatives. Again, so all this stuff, I mean, these are the responsibilities, people. If you are a functioning adult who has any type of management and leadership ability, you should be able to do this job just from the responsibility. Now, qualifications, passionate about the potential of blockchain DLT technology. If you watch our show every day, I know you're passionate, so you already have that qualification. Keen interest in the financial markets. Again, if you watch our show, you should have a keen interest in financial markets. Motivated team player. That is what you need for qualification to be a VP of digital assets at Goldman Sachs. A motivated team player. I hope you're like that. Proven ability to interact, influence, and develop relationships. Basically, show them that you won somewhere with the team. Doesn't matter where, just show them how you won with the team, what you know about crypto, blockchain, banking, and DLT, and how you can integrate that by coming to them. So again, basically, people, this has nothing. I think the biggest qualification is at the bottom one. And again, it's the last one too, at least 5 years working within financial services technology or in a strategy consulting role. So that is the biggest one, and it's the bottom one. So I would say realistically, they want to see 3 to 5 years. This is the VP. McDermott is going to be running things. anyway. So you're really just going to be helping him. I mean, most VPs, the way it works, the running joke, at least in the military type of deal, is that guy does everything I don't feel like doing, right? So as a VP, it's not like you're going to have this real responsibility. I need to lead the way and show everyone the future of digital assets. No, that's what McDermott is there for. Your job is to carry out everything he does. So realistically, all you need to know is you need to be able to learn about crypto quickly, learn about DLT, learn about digital assets very quickly if you don't already know, and you need to know how to carry out execute plans from your boss, basically. Any manager should be able to do this. I actually want to give Goldman Sachs a hand clap, Goldman Sachs UK London, a hand clap and credit to them that they didn't fill this job posting with a bunch of crazy stuff like we've seen in the past with other ones. They didn't say you need to have already created your own Bitcoin and had at least 100,000 users on it, an app or something, right? They didn't have all these crazy qualifications we've seen. You don't need to have a computer scientist degree and already worked 10 jobs and already done X, Y, and Z. You don't need these things. They're looking for very basic qualifications. They just want someone who's motivated and passionate about this market. So again, I said all this about it because I think this is a posting that a lot of people who watch the show actually have the opportunity to get. So if you're in London, you think about possibly relocating. I'm putting the link out there. And how great would it be to have a crypto warrior over at Goldman Sachs? I'm talking about plugged in we would be, huh? I actually can't even post this job posting, unfortunately, because it's too long. So I'll try to break it up in half. Let me see if I can break it up in half for you. There it is. That's the first half, and that's the second half. All right. Last couple of quick stories. Actually, a couple of quick comments before we go to these stories. Let's see. What's going on? S1 Dubs. Yes, smash that like and share, people. Khalil's KRBE Digital Assets Group. But we just usually go by the gentleman of crypto to make it easy. Let's see. Will45 said they went from firing employees that deal with crypto to hiring them. Yeah, I kept the story positive for the most part. KRBE Digital Assets Group. Yeah, let me write that. Yeah, Will, I kept the story positive. And that's only because we're going to see this with every company. I mean, we literally saw Jamie the Dino Diamond on stage saying Bitcoin is a fraud, which he did not go to jail for, and that was market manipulation because he dropped the price. But he was literally on stage saying Bitcoin was a fraud while his company was holding like a Bitcoin conference or what's those, like a fireside chat or whatever on cryptocurrency to grow it within his company. So these are the same people, right? So whether it's going to be Goldman Sachs, we're going to see it from. Though I will be kind of fair with Goldman because they did try to play with it. They just kind of played the middle. They didn't play either side. But yeah, you got the investment firm we just covered. Yeah, we got Goldman Sachs, we got Bank of America, we got Wells Fargo. I mean, they're all going to be flip-flopping. They're all going to flip-flop. And they're all going to start pushing this narrative that they were some of the first in crypto and they help expand it and do all these great things for it. So it's unfortunate, but those are just the facts that we're going to have to deal with because they do have the money, they do have the media, and they do have the regulators on their side. And if you're talking about business and you're a multi-billion-dollar business and I was in charge, I will use all those things to my advantage too to push us forward whether that narrative is real or false, right? Because that is just how big money runs. Yep, Todd said big money will front run. That is true. Let's see. PFC Wells says all about the framing. Exactly. Jake Lee, what's going on? PFC Wells said, what's the degree again? It's all about the execution. That is correct. All right, speaking of ads, though, it looks like a new story came out. Investment firm begins aggressive crypto ad campaign. That's right. We're about to start seeing it, people. Crypto investment firms are advertising cryptos to the public as a way to stay safe from fiat currency inflation. Now, we already saw some ads before. I can't remember if it was a Grayscale ad to begin with, where everyone was trying to basically cash out on their cash and dump their gold, and they couldn't carry gold around. And it's like, maybe it was a Gemini ad. I can't remember. Somebody remind me. But the ad was like, hey, you can't carry gold. You can't go get your gold if something happens. So you have to turn to the digital space, right? Well, it looks like Grayscale Investments are basically following that same path as they're starting to advertise cryptos via television, a potentially big moment for decentralized currency as an asset class. It looks like the most recent campaign by Grayscale is being run on major cable networks, like CNBC, Fox Business, Fox, and MSNBC. So all the money players, right, with such a large amount of publicity, both Grayscale and cryptos may attract many new investors. I think they will. I think this is a good thing, people. Here's the thing you have to remember about Bitcoin. We're looking at basically roughly a $12,000 price, right? $11,700 Bitcoin price. And this is without commercials. This is without advertising. The most advertising we've seen in the crypto space has been digital. It has been online. And it has really been through social media platforms too. It hasn't just been across all digital platforms. It's really across YouTube, Twitter, and you get Facebook, right? So for the most part, three platforms. I know on Instagram it kind of pops up, but it's not really a thing unless it's like the girls saying that they're the crypto trader but wearing a bikini while they're doing it type of deal. It is what it is. But by and large, you're talking about, we've only seen advertising on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. People, we haven't even seen crypto advertising yet. So for a big fund like Grayscale to be doing it, I think, first of all, this is one of the best companies to start advertising because they have been doing things and pleasing both audiences, whether it's the regulators and the traditional institutional audience, as well as the actual crypto community. People are looking at them like, hey, whatever, we get it. They're doing it this way, but they're doing it the right way, right? And they're still in touch with the crypto community. So that's pretty cool. So I think to have commercials come out, ads come out, I think Grayscale is a good one to start with. But again, we haven't even seen advertising in the crypto space, people, and we're looking at $12,000. When you start turning on your TV to the point it's like a beer commercial or alcohol commercial or something like that, and you can't stop seeing crypto ads, that is when I think we're going to start seeing these crazy numbers with the price. And when people were talking about 6 digits and when they keep saying it's inevitable that we'll see 100K, this makes me believe it because we're at $12,000 with no commercials. We get some commercials, people, we're easily at 20 to 30K, right? So we'll see what, as I always say, we'll see what happens, right? Wire Sparks is going on. It's a shame regular people only follow these bankers and rich investors instead of doing your own research. It's crazy. I mean, listen, it's kind of the same with the government though, right? People follow the government and the bankers, and I mean, literally they keep being let down year after year, or at least the people who do choose to do that with their lives. They follow these same people and they keep getting the same results and they keep being angry. And it's like, well, I mean, we keep doing the same thing over and over and again. So, hey, such is life. PFC Wells said, oh, I wasn't even thinking about that. Great point. Meme crypto marketing will grow this coming decade. That's another good point. Once crypto does blow up, and we started seeing this a little bit in 2017, the memes pop up everywhere. And you're right. I just literally the other day, somebody was showing me the memes on your phone, on text messages. I know I'm being old on that one. I didn't even realize the GIFs and memes were on text messages. You could just do it. But wait until you start having an automatic crypto one, like the preloaded ones. Wait until you can just scroll up and there's like a Bitcoin meme or a Bitcoin gift already on the Apple cell phone. It's going to be crazy, people. All right, last story, but certainly not least. Bulgarian startup will pay you in Bitcoin when your flight is delayed. Not really, but kind of sort of. Still want to give them a shout out. The Calibra app is providing a means for air travelers delayed for any reason to receive compensation in crypto. There we go. Calibra app in Bulgaria. It looks like with the global air industry in turmoil due to the pandemic-induced flight delays and cancellations, a startup in Bulgaria is providing the option for travelers to receive compensation in Bitcoin. So it's actually a very novel idea because there has been a lot of turmoil with flight delays and cancellations because of this pandemic, right? Looks like compensation via the Calibra app is available to passengers who experience a flight delay of 1 hour or more. The Bulgaria startup has been offering inconvenienced travelers compensation in fiat since commenced operations in June 2019, but has now added crypto as a payment option. So essentially what's going on here, and this is what they mean, they will pay you in Bitcoin. Technically no, but technically yes. So by using their app, as they already stated, if you have a flight cancellation or delay by an hour or more, then you basically can receive some of not all your money back on whatever you want, right? So if you paid in fiat or if you paid in Bitcoin, you can receive it back in that, or vice versa. Even if you didn't, you can still receive it back in Bitcoin. Now they're saying they pay you in Bitcoin if once you were, let's say you had to cancel, your flight got canceled or delayed, you're getting your money back. If that price of Bitcoin has increased during the time of which you bought the ticket to the time you want your money back because of the flight delay or cancellation, then technically they will be paying you in Bitcoin. They will actually be paying you Bitcoin because that price went up in Bitcoin, and they're not giving you that same exact dollar amount. So in that sense, that is true. But on the flip side, it would be the same for the opposite way. The price took a sudden dip as well. I'm assuming customers wouldn't want their money back in Bitcoin. But if they did, it would be the opposite, right? You'd be losing money. So either way, this is really cool because, as always, it's a base hit for crypto. And another place, Bulgaria, we were just talking about Eastern Europe yesterday with Ukraine and Romania. I was saying I knew some people out there who were heavily involved in crypto, as well as that arrest from the $42 million crime ring, right? When they were doing all that over in, was it Ukraine yesterday we talked about. So again, Eastern Europe, they're all on crypto, they're all on Bitcoin. This is another thing they're doing. It's another base hit, and I think this is a really good idea. Again, it's novel, it's brand new, so who knows if it'll work properly or not, or how the refunds will go and flight delays and cancellations. But again, if it does work, it's a good app, and someone here in the States could try to do it if they don't expand here. And we might see more people saying, hey, I already have my flight account set up so that if any of my trips get canceled, delayed, or if I decide I want to take a trip at a different time, my money comes back to me automatically in Bitcoin. That would be pretty cool to see. Lisa Lee, what's going on? Wire Sparks said, oh, he's talking about the banks and stuff. He said, and they get in after fact. Hey, like I said, it's 2020 and Goldman Sachs is just now making a digital assets wing of their organization. When, again, we did that way back in 2016. So, yeah. They're all going to get in after effect. It's inevitable, but nobody's going to leave this money on the table, right? So pretty cool story to end it. Like I said, I like that it's going on in Bulgaria. Shout out to the Calibra app. Other than that, that's the show for today. Short show for the most part. Like I said, I think everyone's just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with this price of Bitcoin. Unfortunately, as always, the goalpost keeps moving. Every time we get closer to, like, is this the moon? Is this the big thing? Is this the sign we're looking for? Something else happens. This time, that sign, of course, as I stated, are those pandemic checks to see what happens September 1st, if those checks start to come through or not. Because if they don't, like I said, I think we might see this price start slipping all the way until September 1st, especially if it comes out that this DeFi market is inflated $3 billion, right? We might see that price retract some, which it kind of needs to anyway because it has been steaming. And then, of course, after September 1st, depending on if we actually get that check or not, I think that will determine where that price goes. If we get the check, start seeing that market pump right back up. If we don't get it, people start going 3, 4, 5 weeks without working or a check. I don't know. Maybe people pull in some money, start pulling out money from their investments from Bitcoin. Maybe not. But at any rate, it'll be a good test on the market to see how it's reacting, if at all, with the United States market in regards to pandemic checks and the pandemic as a whole. Other than that, that's the show for today. Make sure you smash that like and share. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow with some more crypto news. Cheers.